Greetings lords and ladies, and welcome to the Westeros Vibe, where I knew a maiden in every season with something in her hair. We start off this week with speculation, the case for Lady Stoneheart appearing in Season 6. Careful now, possible spoilers ahead, so mute the video or skip ahead to the next story if you can't handle it. It's no secret that if the show had followed the books more closely, Lady Stoneheart, the resurrected Catelyn Stark, should have made her grand appearance somewhere in seasons 3 or 4. Of course, this did not happen, prompting many to realize that it might never happen. However, some possible circumstantial evidence has appeared, which might point to a possible inclusion of the former Lady Stark in Season 6. First, we have a casting call for a son who is unable to live up to the demands of his savage father. The son is in his late 30s, and is described as hapless. Many have pointed out that this description resembles Merritt Frey, the point of view character from the epilogue of A Storm of Swords, the same chapter where Lady Stoneheart is revealed. This, alongside the possible casting of Septa Merrybold, may point to at least part of Brienne's storyline of A Feast for Crows, where she wanders the Riverlands being adapted. This path, as book readers know, leads to a reunion with Lady Stoneheart, and a rather interesting conflict which, in the books, has not been resolved yet. It would be great to see Michelle Farley return to the show in heavy makeup and with her face slashed. However, until we see it on screen, this remains, as the title points out, blatant speculation. Continuing with more Season 6 news, Ned Stark's character possibly making Game of Thrones comeback. Sebastian Croft, a 13-year-old actor, has just been cast as a young version of Ned Stark. They were looking for a person who could do a northern accent, and that the role would contain sparring with a wooden sword. We can assume that we will get to see Brandon, Benjen, and Lyanna Stark, as they would make the logical sparring partners. So prepare for more flashbacks and backstory, as the show will delve deeper into important events that shape the present-day Westeros. We continue with possibly massive spoilers, so please skip if you don't want to spoil yourself to death. Game of Thrones Season 6 production update. Funeral scene at Castle Black. Cersei's revenge plot may involve fire. There were reports of smoke on the Belfast Wall scene, which might indicate a fiery funeral of one Jon Snow, recently stabbed by a queue of Black brothers. The presence of both Owen Teale, who plays Thorin, and of course Kit Harington near Belfast also has fueled this suggestion. Moving on to King's Landing, 20-gallon barrels of gasoline have been stockpiled for a Red Keep scene, which fuel the theory that Cersei's arc will make a sudden turn into the Mad King territory. These pieces of information may just be indicating other things, however the likelihood of these two events taking place in the following season are rather high. Moving on, Game of Thrones Season 6 updates. Production begins for a 2016 spring release. This new story adds to the earlier one about Ned Stark a couple of new factoids. First, they have cast two more characters, a 7 and 10-year-old speculated to be Benjen Stark and Robert Baratheon. This means that we may get to see glimpses of Ned and Robert's time spent in the Vale as wards of Jon Arryn, during which they became fast friends for life. There are also suggestions of Lyanna Stark appearing in flashbacks, both as a child and during the Tower of Joy event, following the talk about her the previous season. In other news, what does Hodor mean? Game of Thrones Season 6 actor Christian Nairn weighs in. The actor behind Hodor's many Hodors has suggested in an interview that this name may be a reference to the Norse winter god Hodor. In fact, Hodor is not the god of winter, but the brother of Balder. The story goes that Hodor, tricked by Loki, shot his brother with a spear made out of mistletoe, the only thing in existence that could hurt Balder. As a reaction to this, Odin and the giantess Rinder gave birth to Vali, who grew to adulthood in a day and slew Hodor. If this is indeed what George is drawing inspiration from, then Hodor will find nothing but death in the cold north. Moving on, Game of Thrones arrives in Almeria. Trucks have been seen stationed in the Spanish town, where pre-production is apparently on the way under extreme secrecy. It is not known whether the location will be used for Essos or Doran scenes. However, it is known that this will be one of the last locations in Spain where filming will take place. In the meantime, local businessmen are thrilled, as the local economy usually benefits from the presence of the crew in its vicinity. Moving on to book news. Winds of Winter spoilers. George R. Martin has a bittersweet ending in mind for Westeros. This type of title featuring the bittersweet ending that George has alluded to has been making the rounds this week on the internet, despite the fact that it isn't really news. George has talked in the past about the fact that the series will have a bittersweet ending, adding that he will try to go for a Tolkien-esque tone resembling Lord of the Rings. Entering the realms of YouTube, we find a couple of videos worth mentioning this week. Firstly, from Preston Jacobs, we have the 6th Spartan of his The Minds of Wolves and Robin series, where he explores some fascinating possibilities pertaining to Sweet Robin, his dreams and potential powers. Secondly, Emergency Awesome has posted a Q&A where he touches upon a few topics, from young Ned Stark possible uses to the Westerosi economy. That is the news for the week ending on August 16th. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please like, share, comment and subscribe. And stay tuned. Goodbye.